we did know in Q2, because of the early stimulus, that household incomes rose. And unbelievably, the savings rate rose from 6% to 20% in Q2. So we do know that households have got the money. What they do need, I suppose, is a little bit more confidence and surety about the outlook overall. And I think you need to have a little bit more confidence over the labour market. And that certainly was the overriding narrative from the government. Remember, the backdrop here is that they are scaling back those initial support to household income. So they do need to create those jobs overall. We're a little bit optimistic, actually, by Q4 that there will be better signs in terms of consumption, that we've had the Victorian shutdown, which has weighed on activity and confidence as well. And that appears to be unwinding. So we think that going into Q4, and we're going into summer here in Australia as well, and the case numbers remain pretty low, the conditions are more positive for the government. But I think it's going to take a bit more time for these jobs to be created than what the government currently thinks.
In that respect as well, there was a lot of talk prior to the budget that we would have seen some form of wide-scale reform, perhaps when it comes to taxation, perhaps when it comes to industrial relations. We didn't see that come through. So does it look to you as though the government has just basically provided all of these short-term measures and is really just betting on the economy just recovering by itself?
I guess you could argue that they've missed an opportunity. There's clearly a lot of political support for deficits of this order and for the run-up in debt. And I think very interestingly, when you look at the run-up in this debt, that the interest payments over the forward estimates don't go up at all. So it is a bit of a free kick. But I think they can make the argument as well, considering the hit to the economy this year with unemployment rising, which is a real personal issue for a lot of households. They need to address that first. There was no cut to corporate tax rates, for example, or industrial relations. I think their argument would be, let's get people working again first. Let's get unemployment down. Let's get confidence up. And let's see what we can do in terms of investment. Maybe they could have done more on infrastructure. They already got a lot of plans in place. I think a critical measure from this budget then is how private small companies take up this offer of asset write-offs to invest more as well as hire more. But I think it's a fair objection to say, well, maybe they could have done more. But I think they would argue, let's get this done first.